My hike from Stevens Pass to Canada, about 190 miles, ended near the Milk Creek crossing after 6 days and 60 miles. About noon, I broke my left ankle after slipping on some vines that I couldn't see through the overgrown bushes. I was notified by satellite messages that weather would prevent them from rescuing me until the following day.
However, toward evening, I heard the sound of the helo reverberating up the valley about 7 p.m., just 7 hours after my injury. The U.S. Navy rescue crew of Becca, Kenny, and Michael then lifted me to safety.
This map shows my route and the places I stayed for the night.
The red star at the top shows where I was rescued, near Milk Creek.
I started on August 1st at Stevens Pass and was joined by my daughter and grandson for a few trail miles.
Instead of seeing Glacier Peak for the duration of my trip, I only saw it the first 2 days before it was obstructed by clouds. This marmot never warned me about the wet, overgrown, dangerous PCT path below. It was all downhill from Fire Creek Pass to Milk Creek Crossing in the rain and wet trail. Fire Creek Pass. Down to Michael Lake.
I was pleased to arrive at the jewel-like Lake Mica with its beautiful blue tones before continuing down to Milk Creek Crossing. The path soon got overgrown with service and salmonberry bushes so that you could not see your feet on the trail. Toward the bottom, my left foot slid across a wet vine and my right leg and body slammed to the ground as I heard a loud pop sound from my ankle. I saw my ankle was now floppy and I knew my hike was over. I used my T-Mobile cell phone with its new satellite feature to send emergency text messages for help at noon. I also texted my wife and daughter about the plans for rescue and my condition. Emergency services texted me that the weather would prevent them from rescuing me until the following day.
However, toward evening, I heard the sounds of the helo reverberating up the valley about 7 p.m., just 7 hours after my injury. The U.S. Navy rescue crew of Becca, Kenny, and Michael then lifted me to safety.
When I sent the emergency satellite text, my two emergency contacts, my wife and daughter, were also notified. The sheriff's department even talked to my wife about plans for my rescue. I asked if they could take me to Harborview Hospital since that is where all of my medical records were, and I had good care there previously. The pilot from Whidbey Island indicated he had enough fuel, so we had a very scenic trip there while Becca, the medic, inserted an IV shunt into my arm. Michael, Kenny, and Becca were the three Navy rescue crew that dropped down, splinted my leg, and packed up my gear for the ride to Harborview. This was my first helicopter ride, and it was an amazing experience to fly along the Seattle waterfront to view the skyline, including the Space Needle, our condo, the Federal Building, where I worked as area manager for the U.S. Office of Personnel Management for 7 years, Smith Tower, the Columbia Building, and the I-5 freeway. went to the emergency room where they took x-rays and determined I had broken both the tibia and fibia at the ankle area. The ortho doctor then set my leg after filling me with ketamine so I wouldn't hurt so much. That made me feel so loopy. I can see why so many performers abuse it. They scheduled me for surgery that night, but other more serious broken bone injuries pushed my surgery to the following morning. On August 8th, Dr. Erica Rohde inserted a metal plate and several screws to stabilize and patch up my broken left ankle.
My hospital stay was longer at 5 days because of more urgent ortho surgery needs, weekend shortage of occupational and physical therapists, so I enjoyed several delicious meals. When discharged on August 10th, I left with a two-wheel walker my daughter christened Christopher Walken, which is as grim to use as the roles he plays, and my to-go bag of nerve block IV of Ropivacaine at 8 milliliters per hour, which is good for 3 days, along with 10 milligrams of oxycodone every 4 hours and Tylenol. No hospital stay is complete without some Jell-O. Bello with Jell-O.